Hey, what's up, guys? It's CJ. I'm here with Mike and Richard, and we're bringing you another episode of Superhero Sundays, where we're going to get into the upcoming series Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we're going to dive into Captain America's Trilogy. But before we get into all that, don't forget to like and subscribe because any and all support is greatly appreciated. It helps us impact the community by honoring frontline medical workers and also impact the homeless population. So, with all that being said, roll the intro.
The next series of Falcon and Winter Soldier is like a new road, but yet it's going to be really similar. But it's going to be something completely different. Instead of being this whole storytelling of, you know, new things, the new phase, the new direction and everything, it's going to go to more of a buddy cop action. So because you didn't see a lot of action in this series, you're going to see a lot of action in the next series. More comedy, more that sort of thing. Everybody was really hoping for, that they're used to for all the kind of Captain America kind of movies, where a lot of it stems around action, shooting, violence, but yet still telling a really good story as it comes along.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm really excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really want to see what they're going to do. Like I said, all the action and even the comedy. Super excited about it. Richard, about you, man? Are you excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier?
That's gonna be fun, you know, because you know when what we know about them, right? They're Winter Soldier's a biologically enhanced person with superhuman strength and a crazy robotic arm, right? Now a newly robotic arm, straight out of Wakanda.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? What kind of arm is that?
What kind of...
So, thank you. Don't forget to tip your waitresses.
No, man, I'm excited.
It's gonna be fun.
To see what they're gonna do, man. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And so, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were both actually introduced in Captain America's second movie, which was Captain America Winter Soldier. That movie was great, man. That was such a good movie. Mike, what do you think about Winter Soldier in that movie? I thought it was one of my favorites, actually.
Is definitely in my top 5 MCU movies.
Definitely.
It's very well paced. The storytelling's great. The conflict in it was great. The choreography of the fight scenes were one of the best between Captain America and Winter Soldier. Like, everything about it was just really well done. And in the middle of the trilogy, I think it was the perfectly placed, perfectly well done, because you get Captain America, the first one, that tells the origin story, some action, but mostly about the origin of how things are starting off, you know, the Tesseract, you know, Red Skull, setting up the whole Avengers, that Fury.
Endgame.
Everything was set up perfectly, and then you get this movie that comes in and just completely rips apart any kind of that, MCU can't keep up these fantastic movies, and it comes in and just completely blows everybody away with the storytelling and how everything went. And then you have Civil War, which brings in this whole other aspect of the conflict within the Avengers.
Yeah.
To completely show that it's not all, you know, roses. It's not all good. It's, you know, this team that they came up with has issues. Like, it's really well grounded, that nothing's ever perfect. Things are always happening. It's not this, you know, everybody's a yes. No, it's
people have real issues. Yeah, they have they're human,
just like the real world. And just like in this series, it showed you issues that people have with losing somebody that they love, depression, anxiety, like all these type of real life issues. And that's what makes Marvel so great compared to DC, where you can't really get a well-grounded character. They're all like godlike, or these characters that are really out there. Yes, they have issues themselves, but to be so well-grounded that somebody that can really connect to. That's why Spider-Man's one of the most iconic superheroes, because he's so well-grounded. He's so, like, people can like see themselves
Really relate. They can relate to him.
relate to him with all the issues that he has through high school, college, like all these things that he's going through, trying to pay his bills, not having enough money for rent, trying to find a job and trying to juggle his love life, and like all these things. People really feel like they can connect to these superheroes, and Marvel does a great job with, even like you said, with not just Winter Soldier of losing a friend and all this stuff, but Civil War, that even in a great individual or group, they have fights in between. They have things that are going. Each of them have their own backstory that conflicts with something else that somebody might be believing. It's just really well done.
Really, really well done. Like I said, the MC writers, they do a great job, and I think it was a great trilogy. Richard, you and your wife are actually going through all of the movies right now. Did you guys finish up Captain America Trilogy already?
Oh yeah. We just finished Civil War last week.
No, I was gonna say. So, what's your overall thoughts on the whole trilogy of Captain America?
It's very rare when you have a series of movies where it starts off good and then it gets better.
Yeah,
it's very rare to have that happen, and you could name off a few movies or a few movie series that's like that, like Star Wars, right? Episode 4 to episode 5, that series got better and better. Captain America's on par with that. It's a great first movie, the first Avenger. Then it got better the second, with Winter Soldier, and then by the third one, it was so nice, or not nice, but it was just so fun to be reminded, because I haven't seen that movie in like 5 years. Yeah, can you believe almost 5 years since the Civil War?
I know.
So to watch it again and to be reminded of the conflict that was going on with those guys, and just the intensity. That's like the main word that I like to describe it. It was just so intense, You mentioned my wife. We're watching it. She's watching it for the first time, and there was a moment where we're watching it during one of the fight scenes, and she's flinching, because she's so into it. She got so invested into it. So it's been fun to go through this journey with her. It's been fun to revisit these movies that, especially some of them I haven't seen in a long time. But yeah, it's a great series. It really is.
It's a great series. I mean, in the MCU, we have other trilogies. We have, Iron Man with a trilogy, Thor with a trilogy. The Avengers technically was a trilogy because Infinity Wars and Endgame is pretty much the same movie, just broken up in part 1 and part 2. Is Captain America the best trilogy in the MCU? I'm gonna throw that out there. Mike, what do you think? Do you think it has an argument to be the best trilogy?
Personally, I do think it is the best trilogy in the MCU. Me personally, one of my favorites in the top 3 movies, Iron Man, the first one, because it was just so well done from beginning to end. The second Iron Man was meh, and then the third Iron Man was meh. So it was like a great movie, way up here, and then second one, and then the third one. And then you got Thor, that was just middle of the line type of movie, the setup, the whole cosmic thing. Thor 2 was...
It was okay. It wasn't that great.
And then, of course, Thor Ragnarok, everybody loved because it was comedy and stuff like that. And
so funny.
Yeah, so it went kind of like here, then kind of here, and then it kind of went up here. But then you have Captain America, started off a solid movie, and then you got Winter Soldier, that was just an amazing movie. And then you're all like, well, it can't really get better than this. And then you got the implications of Civil War, even though the story wasn't just perfect, but the implications of what's going on in the movie, and literally almost like an Avenger movies, because there's so many of them in it, kept it up here. So it really is the best trilogy in the MCU.
What about you, Richie? What's your thoughts on it? Is it the best trilogy, or what do you think?
In the MCU, yeah. I think it really is. For all the points that Mike just explained. When it comes to Thor, I really liked the first Thor movie. Then the second one, I thought it took a dip down, and then the third one went back up again, right? Because because that third Thor movie had like all the action, and what most of the movies don't have is that there's like a lot of moments of comedy in it.
Yeah.
Right. So Iron Man, same thing. Great start, and then it kind of went a step down each of the way through.
I think it's a good argument that Captain America is the best trilogy in the MCU. I mean, there are some movies that are on par that can maybe be up there with it, like Guardians. They have only 2 movies so far. But I think Doctor Strange could be on par with that can beat Captain America, because the first Doctor Strange was great. It was really, really good. And I can't wait to see the second Doctor Strange. But that's too far in the future to really kind of start putting it together. But as far as what we have right now, the body of work we have, I would say, yes, Captain America is the best trilogy in the MCU. I agree. But you know what? It's kind of fun to, like, because Mike brought up, DC, they haven't done it right. They they keep mishandling things, and like, so they're not really grounded in what they do and the piece of work they put out. But they have put out one great trilogy. They put out The Dark Knight. That's that one thing that they have that the DC has that they can hold on to and say, this is our masterpiece. So I'm gonna throw it out there. Is Captain America trilogy better than the Dark Knight trilogy? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say Captain America is better than the Dark Knight trilogy. DC fans out there, you wanna fight me, come at me. Let's debate. Let's go ahead and get this. But I'm gonna say yes, Captain America is better than the Dark Knight trilogy. Only because I think it hinges on the first movie. Is Captain America 1, the first Avenger, is that one better than Batman Begins? And I'm gonna say, yeah, I think it is. I think it's better than Batman Begins, because the second Captain America Winter Soldier, you can tie that with the Dark Knight, with the second movie in the Dark Knight trilogy. And then the Dark Knight Rises, you go with Civil War. I'm gonna go with Civil War over Dark Knight Rises. So I'm gonna say Captain America beats the Dark Knight trilogy. Mike Diaz, what do you think, man? Am I wrong or am I tripping? What do you think?
Yes, you're wrong. Not just because I'm a big fan of Batman, but if you really take the look at the scope of the body of work, to me, Batman Begins is severely underrated.
I agree.
Severely underrated compared to the other two, because I know Dark Knight is such a great movie because everybody loves Heath Ledger and the Joker. It was just completely well done from beginning to end. And then Dark Knight Rises is a well done movie. It's not the greatest movie ever, but they also didn't do anything that made it completely terrible trash. But like you said, you wanted to compare the first Avenger origin story with Batman Begins. If you really put them next to each other, Batman Begins not just tells a better story, but more action, more of what you want to see, because it's not just the Batman that you know and love, but it's a completely different Batman because of how Christian Bale portrays him.
That's true.
Not to mention that you got a great villain. Great. The Red Skull is great. The guy who played him did a great job. Really embodied the Red Skull. But Liam Neeson did a great job as Ra's al Ghul. He did a very good job. Not only that, but Christian Bale had great help with Alfred, who played Lucius Fox. Like, all these characters did really good job with Batman Begins. Like, it was well done. And
the Scarecrow was super scary in Batman Begins also, man. It was pretty scary.
Batman Begins is a very severely underrated movie, in my opinion, because it has this giant next to it called The Dark Knight, where Heath Ledger comes in and completely destroys everybody's thought process of how the Joker is interpreted. He took the Joker and made him more of a demonic, evil entity that in some comic book arcs, they do mention the Joker as almost like he could be kind of like the devil himself. He's really demonic. He's forever living. He's been around for years. So that whole thing, like, one of the biggest parts of The Dark Knight that I completely enjoyed was that scene where they had the videotape where he had the other guy dressed up as Batman, and he was talking to him, and he was telling him to look at me, and then he did this demonic voice of "look at me," like
yeah.
he went from being joking to trying to get attention to just this complete like monster. This movie, The Dark Knight, it's not my favorite Joker, but the way that it was portrayed, the way it was written, everything from beginning to end was just absolutely great. And yes, I do love Winter Soldier. It's a great movie, but I think it just barely loses because of how great Heath Ledger was in this movie. And then you have Civil War, the implications of Civil War of all these characters, and then you have Dark Knight Rises. I think in the way that this is, Dark Knight Rises is a lesser movie than Civil War. So the way you're saying it, I think Batman Begins better than First Avenger. Winter Soldier is still a great movie, but less than Dark Knight. And then Civil War is the only one in the trilogy that you're talking about that beats a Batman movie, in my eyes.
Good argument. I like that. Richard, man, what do you think? Am I wrong, or is Mike hitting the points right? What do you think?
I mean, you both have solid points, and I'm with Mike when it comes to fandom, right? I've always been a bigger Batman fan than anyone else, but it does pain me to say that when it comes to the trilogy of movies, the Captain America movies has the edge over the Christopher Nolan Batmans. For all the reasons that Mike just brought up, and not just that, but I think it's also the storylines that surround each movie. So when it comes to Batman Begins, right, that is a great movie. And when it comes to me, I love ninjas. And so when I learned in that movie that Batman is a ninja, mind blown. Mind blown. So, and I love the details of how that movie, it really went into depth on Bruce Wayne's training on how he became Batman, right? Compared to Captain America: First Avenger, fun movie, great story, but it was just a starter movie for something great to come. That's how I felt, and it actually is one of my favorite MCU movies, or at least the characters, I should say.
Yeah, in the first Avenger, I mean, you see Captain America, how he was just a scrawny little guy, and then, but he had heart. He had heart, man.
Yeah. Right, yeah. He was always willing to go to the fight versus run away from it, right? No matter how big, no matter how small he was at the time. So that's what really qualified him to take that serum.
Yeah.
So it was fun to watch. That was a very fun movie to watch. Then when it comes to Dark Knight versus Winter Soldier, the Dark Knight movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I will definitely pick that over Winter Soldier. But there was so much implication on Winter Soldier, right? One of the biggest things about the MCU, the whole MCU universe, is S.H.I.E.L.D. And we saw Hydra infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was brought down.
Yeah.
Then with the as Mike was saying, conflict within the characters, when Steve Rogers found out that Winter Soldier is Bucky, that was sad. And how everyone turned on Steve Rogers, that fight scene in the elevator was just, so again, I think from First Avenger to Winter Soldier, that series actually got better. Just like with Batman, that series got better. Then with Dark Knight Rises, it was very strange, right? Because you have, in Dark Knight, you have good acting, well-written story. In The Dark Knight Rises, I felt the story was kind of mediocre, but the acting was still really good, right?
Yeah.
So it was a very good movie. But when it came to, but if you compare it to Civil War, I mean, just it doesn't the intensity just didn't match it. It didn't match what Civil War brought.
Yeah.
So
Man, I remember in Civil War when that's when Black Panther was introduced, also, right?
Black Panther and Spider-Man.
When Black Panther came on the scene, because I never really knew too much about Black Panther, and so to see kind of his story and where he's from, and then to find out just seeing him fight and how he has portrayed that character for the first time, man, it blew my mind. I don't know, it just really, really touched me then, especially for being in my culture. That was just a great, great way to introduce him. And so Civil War, one of my favorite movies, man. It was, so I don't know. You have arguments for the Dark Knight Trilogy being better than Captain America. But again, guys out there, audience, come at us, comment, give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think about what is better, Captain America Trilogy or the Dark Knight Trilogy. For me,
everybody is going to be on my side. My side.
We'll see, man. It's a good debate. So I'm excited to see what you guys think out there. So, you know what? On this show, still, we recognize heroes in real life. The hero we want to recognize is Albert Giannotto. Albert is a respiratory therapist in Los Angeles. He has been an RT for 8 years. He started working at subacutes and long-term facilities before finding a home at a hospital in Los Angeles. He says he's always wanted a career that can make a difference and still be involved with the community, and working in the medical field fills that role. After a friend's advice, he decided to look into the respiratory program, and the rest is history. Albert is a great guy, and he'll be receiving a Royal Zealous care package, which consists of a Royal Zealous drawstring bag, a gift card, and a badge reel with a comic hero on it. Albert, congratulations. Continue to work hard, continue to help people out there that need help and that need to breathe, because he's a respiratory therapist. Thank you, man, for what you do. We honor you. All right, that concludes another episode of Superhero Sundays. Tune in next week where we get into some more fun topics. And of course, reveal another real life hero award. Good night, you guys. Take care.